Based on the survey from a scale of 0 to 100 Open Budget Index score, Namibia obtained 54 in transparency in terms of how the public accesses information about how the government raises and spends public resources. This is compared to the 42 it scored in 2021.
Now, looking at the transparency recommendations for this specific round, the first one is publish the in-year reports online in a timely manner. Second one would be to include the year-end report comparisons between borrowing estimates and the actual outcomes, and comparisons between the original macroeconomic forecasts and the actual outcomes. For those of you that go through the technicalities of the budget documents, you understand what I'm saying. And to improve the comprehensiveness of the citizens' budget as well as the enacted budget. And this is for, just to give you an example, would be, for instance, to include debt and revenue comparisons.
Namibia also ranked 4th out of 125 countries in budget public participation.
Historically, if you look back at the Open Budget Survey, we've been scoring 0 on the public participation element. And that I'm very glad to say has changed in the last few years. We have civil society has been meeting with the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises and the National Planning Commission to raise what we think are priorities for the forthcoming budgets since 2022. And last year we were able to provide a submission to the ministry around the middle of the year.
In budget oversight, the country scored 46. This is because the government provided weak oversight during the planning stage of the budget cycle and limited oversight during the implementation stage.
We understand that the Open Budget Survey is also very important in making sure that we get better development outcomes. There's evidence that countries that participate in these surveys manage their debt better, they achieve their development goals better, and they actually have better fiscal outcomes. The budget is spent on the right things, and therefore development takes place. Hence, our decision as a government to participate in this survey, because that's what we aspire for as Namibia, to get better development outcomes.
I trust that my dear brother, the Minister of Finance, will commit to this. In the same vein, we recognize that we've made a lot of progress. It is reported that some government entities return money to the Treasury or virement to other recurrent expenditure lines, which, if continued, is not going to help us achieve the intended budget objectives. We therefore need to work together to ensure that all resources allocated to ministries are fully utilized for the intended objectives for which they were allocated.
The Open Budget Survey compared 125 countries in the areas of budget accountability systems, public availability of budget information, and public participation opportunities in the budget process. NH Nwabeb, NBC News, Windhoek.